Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Of course I want to press charges. This is what we all wanted to hear. Too many times we read about how the aggressor got away with no punishment. I'm so happy this didn't end that way. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. Assaulted even though I don't work there. A little background. I'm single, having never remarried after my wife passed away from a sudden and deadly illness. And since the pandemic hit, my grandmother, who's in her 90s, and my cousin and her mother have been living with me. My cousin is a special needs boy and has a compromised immune system, as well as my grandma being old, does not have as strong as an immune system as she used to. Normally, I would order in whatever we needed, but at the time this happened, I could not. Something to do with their system going buggy or something? With that, let's get on with the story. This happened a little earlier today, and I'm still fuming over it. Yes, I did press charges. Earlier today, I decided to go shopping because some members of my household needed food and a few things for a special diet one of them had to eat. Into the store once I got there, grabbed a cart, and began to shop. I'd been shopping for about 20 minutes when I heard someone snapping their fingers. I ignored it because I didn't work there and was wearing jeans and a black shirt with Insane Clown Posse on it. No way anyone could mistake me for an employee. Or so I thought. Next thing I knew was someone yelling in my ear, "Are you going to help me or not?" When I got turned around, there was a Karen, short-haired and clothes one size too small for her, large, and with a sour look on her face. She shouted again, "Help me now or I'm getting you fired." I told her just as loudly, "I don't work here, lady. Now F off and go bother an actual employee." She stepped back, mouth agape, like she'd never been shouted back at her entire life, and wound up to slap me. I blocked her swing and said, "That's one." She tried to slap me again and I blocked it. "That's two. One more and I slap you back, B." She screamed, "I'm getting you fired," and stormed off. I yelled, "Don't let the doorknob hit you in your butt on the way out, B." As she left, I saw her shoulders jerk as if she got hit in the back and kept going. I continued with my shopping, albeit angrily. I was done with people at the moment and wanted to finish and get back home. An employee approached me and asked what all the yelling was about, so I told her everything. I could tell she was smirking when I told her what I said as the crazy woman stomped off. So we chatted as I shopped, and the employee's words were helping considerably to calm me down when we heard that nasty voice again. "That's him, the one who wouldn't help me and threatened me when I asked for his help. I want him fired right now." The manager looked confused. "Ma'am, he doesn't work here." "I cannot fire customers." "Yes, he does," she yelled at him. "Fire him right now or I'm filing a complaint with corporate." "You're certainly welcome to do that, ma'am, but he does not work here." She lost her crap then. Her face went purple and charged at me and managed to slap me this time. I normally am opposed to hitting women, but out of pure defensive instinct, I slapped her back hard enough to spin her around and knock her down. By this time, store security had arrived and restrained me, thinking I was the one to instigate the incident. The crazy woman got up off the floor and started screaming assault and demanding the police be called. In the meantime, she tried several more times to get me and slapped me again and wound up being restrained herself. During this, the employee had been speaking to the manager over her yelling and told him what had actually happened and had heard her demands 2 aisles away and came to investigate. Apparently, she'd managed to come into the aisle in time to see her try and slap me a second time in my warning to her. When the police arrived, she went off on a profanity-laced rant, demanding that I be fired and arrested and that she was going to be able to live off the suit she intended to file. The police walked me a few feet away while she ranted and raved and asked me what had happened, so I told them, and that the footage from security cameras would provide proof of my side of the incident. So while one listened to her side of the story, one went and checked the recordings. They came back, one took out his cuffs while the crazy woman looked smug and said some rude things, but was shocked when the officer told her to turn around and not resist. They had to literally drag her out of the store kicking and screaming all the way, threatening to have their jobs and screaming how she was the victim here and more I cannot put here because of the language. I was asked a few minutes later by one of the officers if I would like to press charges, since from viewing the recordings it was obvious I was defending myself and did not use excessive force. Of course I said yes. I also found out later she has harassed other shoppers before but had never assaulted anyone. So she's sitting in jail having not been able to bail out, and her own family, a few who have contacted me and profusely apologized for her actions, which I told them not to worry about it. They're not being held to blame for her actions, and none of them are willing to pay her bail so she can get out and start her shenanigans again. I suspect there's more to it than that. But I do know that she's been banned from the store now after that for life. And our second story. I turned down a family vacation because I would have to pay and my sister wouldn't. My 28-year-old female parents are organizing a family holiday abroad and have approached me stating they will be paying for my sister's 30-year-old female holiday but not mine. This is because to them I can afford it and she cannot, and that's the only way we'd all be able to go on vacation together. They couldn't pay for us both. That it's their money and they can do as they wish with it, and that I'm in a good spot financially right now and my sister isn't. If I ever find myself in a bad spot, they'll help me out. But to me, it's not that simple. I'm more financially stable than my sister because I've chosen to live in a cheaper area, despite being further away from my friends, followed a career path where financial security is guaranteed, and always live well within my means, whereas my sister has followed a career path which is, unfairly I admit, underpaid, insisted on living close to her friends despite the high rent, and likes to spend more money on her lifestyle. My parents think the crux of it is that I'm lucky that my passion lines up with a well-paid job, and my sister's unlucky that her passion does not. So my sister deserves more help due to that bad luck. They also think that I'm lucky to have a partner that I could move away to a cheaper area with, and my sister, who doesn't currently have a serious partner, is unlucky in that respect. So it'd be a greater deal to move away from her friends and therefore again unlucky. Again, they insist if the tables turn and our fortunes are reversed, they would help me out. I refused this holiday and chose one with my friends at the same time instead. If the money thing wasn't there, I would probably have chosen this family holiday, but I just feel like my frugal decisions are now being punished, and this is unfair. I'm not angling for my parents to pay for me too, and I also feel kind of bad suggesting, indirectly, that my sister pay for hers, but I still feel really hard done by, and that my sister is being coddled, and the fact that she spends quite a lot on a day-to-day basis, much more than me, is being rewarded. My parents and sister think I'm being money hungry and not very compassionate to my sister's unlucky love life and underpaid profession. This is stopping us from going on a vacation, all four of us, which is upsetting my parents. And our last story. House full of Karens wants to tear up a home because they're getting evicted. I, 27-year-old female, and my husband, 29-year-old male, finally after 3 years are able to purchase a home here in the Northwest United States. We found the home of our dreams, but it was tenant-occupied with their lease expiring. The homeowner was getting older and wanted to sell the home instead of renting it. The tenants were given an 18-month notice to vacate so he could list it unless they wanted to purchase it from him for $50,000 in monthly payments. They stated they didn't want the responsibility of owning and fixing a home. They're more comfortable with renting. They rented the home from him for 15 years, and they were offered the home for 1/8 the price we paid for it and 1/12 the value. Well, after 18 months, he listed and we went under contract, giving 4 months till closing. 2 of the 5 roommates left, and the other 3 were a couple and their 21-year-old daughter. The inspector came after, giving them a 1-week notice, and they caused nothing but havoc. They trashed the fireplace and entire home, ruined the HVAC, stained the floors, put holes in the carpet and walls, and left the garden hose on so water gets in the crawl space under the home. It was a mess, but the inspector noted everything. Now comes the fun part. The tenants refused to pay their utilities and asked if the homeowner would extend the lease since it was their daughter's childhood home. The homeowner refused and showed them the contract and the damages. They complained that they should have been given the home since they rented so long, but the homeowner said tough noodles. The tenant couple vacated when the homeowner showed the eviction documents but left their 21-year-old daughter. She requested that when we purchased the home, if we could be her roommates and put her on the title, We laughed and said no. She blamed us, stating we took her home from her and it's our fault she has to leave. I sympathized and said we understood it was her child at home, but y'all had every opportunity to purchase it and didn't. She stated to the homeowner that she would fight the VA for our home loan and make us pay for her mortgage since, as veterans, we owe it to her. We ignored it. After a few weeks, 1 month before closing to be exact, the appraiser and inspector came by and she barricaded herself in the master bedroom. After being given $50 from the homeowner, she left home for the day and it was a mess. Clothes and trash piled everywhere, pizza boxes stacked to the ceiling, and the stench of rotting food made the inspector have to put on his mask. They finished the job and the homeowner had replaced/repaired everything on the list, $52,000 worth, except inside the master bedroom. The week before closing, the last tenant left. Come to find out, she already had another apartment for months, but just wanted to trash the place so we'd back out. The homeowner hired professional cleaners, and it took 4 days to clean and sanitize that room. We just got the key and discovered the last tenant and ripped drywall off in the master bathroom, put screws down the garbage disposal, and crushed the garage door opener when the previous owner reset the code. She left us a note that said she expects us to give her the security deposit amount as compensation when the previous homeowner gave her parents it back in full to get them to leave. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.